Hey guys, and welcome to the Band Rants channel, your home for NFL projections, predictions, and of course, your periodic rant. And this video, I'm going to be doing a game I like to call What If. I'm going to pick a division in the NFL, I'm going to break down all four teams and give a sort of random scenario that, hey, what if this happened, right? I'm going to break down what I think would have happened in that scenario, how the franchise would have turned out, whether better or worse, and I'm going to give my insight to that. But before I do, please make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, leave a comment down below, and we're going to go ahead and start. So we'll start off with the division champions from last year, the New Orleans Saints, and we're going to go ahead and ask a what if question. And obviously, an honorable mention would be, what if Bounty Gate didn't happen in terms of Sean Payton being suspended? What if the Saints were able to win the NFC Championship game against the LA Rams a couple of years ago? Obviously, that's a very obvious what if, but the one I have is another obvious one. What if the Saints didn't sign Drew Brees? This is almost unthinkable to think that this almost didn't happen. Now, it was never really, a debate whether the Saints wanted him or not. It was more a debate on why the Dolphins and Nick Saban didn't push to sign Drew Brees, mainly because he was just getting off of arm surgery. I believe it was like I don't know if it was a rotator cuff or it was a labrum injury in his arm, but it's a very tricky injury to come back from, and I understand where Nick Saban came from, but obviously that was one of the classic that didn't age wells, because Drew Brees would go on to have 15 years of Hall of Fame bliss, break all kinds of records, and win a Super Bowl trophy. But what if the Saints didn't make that move? What if the Dolphins and Nick Saban had a change of heart and did sign him? Or what if Brees didn't come back the right way and he retired? Or some other team got him and it didn't pan out and he hopped from team to team? The Saints, you think about probably the next 3 or 4 years, and quarterbacks that were eligible to be drafted in 2008. There were some good ones. You had, I believe, Alex Smith was available that year, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco. I mean, obviously, Flacco didn't age well as the rest of them, but Flacco does have a championship ring in his own right. Can't take him lightly. And maybe with Sean Payton, he might have been able to be a little bit more magical. We've seen how he performs in the postseason. Obviously, Matthew Stafford is another honorable mention in that next couple of years after that. So a lot of interesting situations. I don't think Peyton would have been fired by the time he picked up somebody new. I think the Saints would have probably grabbed somebody by 2008, 2010 at the latest. And I think they would have had a couple of playoff appearances. I don't know if they'd necessarily have a championship. It all depends on who they got. I think Peyton could have maybe won one with Rodgers. Maybe Alex Smith could have potentially gotten him one. Flacco is a big maybe. I think Flacco had the benefit of Baltimore's defense, which was always smash mouth. I don't think New Orleans was on that level in terms of defense. Was it bad? No, but not nearly as good as Baltimore's was. But I think that Brees would have still been okay. New Orleans would have been average. I don't think they necessarily would have been great. But obviously, that's what I think would have happened there. For the Panthers, they are the next team on this list. And a lot of people might ask, well, what if they won Super Bowl 50? And my thing is, what if they won Super Bowl 38? Everybody remembers the Cam Newton, Peyton Manning Super Bowl. Obvious reasons. Manning got his Super Bowl win in Denver that was overdue, 3 years overdue in my opinion, and retired on top. If you want to say on top, he had a really bad season, but on top with a championship regardless. But the Panthers, to be honest with you, didn't look good in that game. And they were, on paper, a better team in that game. But in Super Bowl 38, that was a really close Super Bowl, and that could have gone either way. And people don't really remember the fact that the Panthers actually played very well in terms of that Super Bowl, because they were focused on Tom Brady winning and winning and winning. But to be honest with you, Jake Delhomme actually played a lot better than Tom Brady did. And Jake Delhomme outplayed Tom Brady in terms of the numbers. And if you look at the numbers here from the Super Bowl, 31 passing yards is the only thing Brady had better than Delhomme. Delhomme had a better passer rating. He turned the ball over less. He had a better completion percentage. Brady, well, actually, no, he didn't have a better completion percentage. I'm sorry. Brady actually had a better completion percentage, but Delhomme actually put up a better QBR than Brady. And against a quarterback like Tom Brady, that's a big deal. Obviously, it was Brady is, on a rookie deal, not necessarily now, but Delhomme, all the Panthers defense had to do was just a little bit more. Whether they held Brady to only 2 touchdowns or maybe one of those rushing touchdowns didn't quite go through. But in my opinion, this was a great game, and it was a really fun game to actually be a part of. I actually remember this game very well, and it was very close. And it all came down to an Adam Vinatieri kick, which a lot of people will cite. But the Panthers could have easily flipped this game, and if they won it, could they have potentially had another appearance in the next 12 years? I mean, I don't know if it would have necessarily changed the whole course. It might have made some dents in Brady's best of all time arguments, because it's really hard to say if he would have continued to win the same, what is it at the time? I think it was, he had 9 more Super Bowl appearances, which is really, really good. But it's not to say that that was a lock. And who knows, maybe it would have changed. But for now, obviously, we can say that the Panthers would have got their first championship. Potentially, Delhomme would have got a Super Bowl MVP to boot, because he had better numbers than Brady did. And that would have been a really, really weird scenario, because he would have joined the Eli Manning and Nick Foles club. For the Falcons, what if, for the Falcons, it's not 28-3? I'm going to just nip that in the bud right now. It's not, because that's a question we're going to be asking till the end of time. What if they won that game? Whatever. What if the Falcons hired Rex Ryan in 2015? Believe it or not, this was almost a possibility. Much like the Saints almost didn't have the chance to sign Drew Brees, Rex Ryan almost was an Atlanta Falcon head coach. This was actually something that I have said from day one should have happened. The Falcons signing Dan Quinn, in my opinion, didn't age as well as it could have, because the Falcons had really no defense and a great offense, which on paper signing Dan Quinn made sense, but there was mutual interest prior to that between Rex Ryan and the Falcons. The problem is Atlanta didn't obviously push as hard for Rex Ryan as they should have. And Rex Ryan really wanted to go there, but he felt as though the Falcons weren't as interested as they should have been, ended up going to Buffalo, which also didn't age well. But think about this for a second. People say Rex Ryan wanted to chase Bill Belichick still, and that's why he went to the Bills, but that's not exactly fair. Rex Ryan just went where he felt he was really taken the most seriously in terms of what he was offered. But again, didn't age well. And the Falcons actually, had Rex Ryan been brought there, he could have fixed the defense, because the offense was already good to go. He didn't have to do anything for the offense. Whereas the Bills had no offense and a good defense, and Rex Ryan tried to basically fix what's already too broken and something he's not great with, and obviously the system broke. But with Rex Ryan running the Falcons, that would have been a really interesting scenario. I think the defense would have been better than they were with Dan Quinn. I think they might have had a second NFC championship appearance. I think they would have maybe, just maybe, potentially had a lot better of a run. And Rex Ryan could still be there now, in my opinion. Maybe not now. Maybe I'd say maybe he'd have another year or two more than Quinn. But I still think he would have been a much better hire. I think the Falcons would have looked a lot better on defense and been taken a lot more seriously than they are now. Finally, the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, another what if. What if they didn't sign Tom Brady? What if Winston performed better? I don't know. But the what if I have is related to quarterbacks. What if the Buccaneers drafted Johnny Manziel? This is also another, I really think this would have been a better idea for this person type of move. Now, there's no evidence that Tampa would have drafted Johnny Manziel. This is more of a, pipe dream that I'm kind of throwing out there. Here's my thing. I've said for a long time Johnny Manziel drafted and declared too early. I think he should have waited a year. And Johnny Manziel joining the league in 2013, I think that year was. I'm sorry. No, 2014. I'm sorry. He was drafted in 2014. And he should have waited a year. Because had he waited a year, he would have been... No, wait, I was right. 2014. Yeah, I was right. Okay, so he was drafted in 2014. I was right. Had he waited a year, he would have been in, obviously in the argument with Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota for the 2015 draft class. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had the number 1 pick that year. Now, is there any evidence that they would have picked him? No. But on paper, Manziel had more celebrity. He had more appeal. Jerseys would have sold out like hotcakes for Tampa. And he would have arguably performed better because he had more to work with. And who did the Buccaneers draft the year before in 2014? The year Manziel declared? I don't know. Mike Evans. And who's Mike Evans? Buccaneers' top wide receiver that was only Johnny Manziel's top target at Texas A&M. Now, obviously, Lovie Smith, I don't know if he was necessarily the best quarterback guru at the time, but I think that Manziel would probably still be there now. Obviously, I'm not going to even speculate whether he's better than someone like Tom Brady because that's unfair. But I think he would have performed better than Winston. I think Tampa might not have felt as obligated to look for a quarterback had they decided to go with Manziel over Winston in terms of development. I think Manziel would have been much happier in Tampa. I think he would have had a much better system to be able to develop. And, Manziel could still be there now. Who knows? But that's what I've got for the what ifs. And hopefully you guys like that video, and I'll see you in the next one.